Okay, so we got NFL Week 11 against the spread. We're getting ready to do the picks. Wasn't a good week last week for us. I mean, 6-8 overall, and the record on the season. I didn't even write that down. Is 13, 6, 87 and 63 on the year. That's the record for the picks. So let's get ready to start the picks coming up right here on Gridiron Steady on Rumble and YouTube and Twitch. All right. So we got NFL tonight kicks off the Cincinnati Bengals and the Baltimore Ravens. Now, this is a division game, so we expect this game to be pretty close. Bengals are 5-4. They're last place in the AFC North, while the Ravens are 7-3. They are in first place. And this is a prime time meetup that could set the tone for the AFC North for the rest of the year. And someone's texting me. I don't know why. So, Joe Burrow versus Lamar Jackson. This is we know how these Raven Bengal games always turn out. Past two seasons, both of these teams have been going at it. Now the Ravens have a chance to sweep the season series and take a 2.5 game lead over the last place Bengals, as every team in the AFC North has a winning record as of right now. This division's turned out to be one of the better divisions, at least from a winning perspective in all of football. And Baltimore's 33-31 loss last week to Cleveland made the race even tighter. So we like I like the Bengals here. Look, there's no mistake that we had the Bengals having a big season. They've been kind of disappointing, but there's been a lot of issues there, injuries, and they started out slow, so now they're trying to catch back up. But I still like the Bengals in this game against the Ravens. They're underdogs, 3.5-point underdogs. And I say go with the Bengals tonight or whenever you watch this, if you watch it by tonight. Take the Bengals and the plus 3.5. Even if the Bengals somehow lose, they might just lose by only 3 points. I think this is going to be a close game. I really believe it. I think the Bengals can win. They understand that they're in last place. This is kind of I'm not going to say it's a must-win game, but you really don't want to go down 2.5 games to Baltimore at week 11 with 6 games to go or so, 6 weeks to go. And it could be an uphill battle if they lose tonight. Now, Baltimore, they have an opportunity here to put the Bengals. Now, I'm not going to say put them away, because even if they do win, it's still only 2.5 game lead. But they want to put the Bengals away and try to keep a lead over the other teams like Pittsburgh, who people are now predicting that the Steelers could win this division. And you got Cleveland, who they just shut down Deshaun Watson for the year. So I think Cleveland is a mirage. They're not really that good. I know their defense has been pretty good this year. I don't think Cleveland is a threat to do anything. But they still have a winning record right now, so we have to consider them. But Deshaun Watson's on the shelf. He's going to be shut down for the year. So I think Baltimore has an opportunity here, if they can win this game, to really set the tone and say, hey, look, this is our division. We're going to take it this year. But I like Cincinnati. So take Cincinnati in the plus 3 if you want to win. And don't forget, guys, we are 8-2 in Thursday night football games against the spread. 8-2 on the season. So we don't lose on Thursday night football that much. So we know what we're talking about here. Now, of course, you make your picks. That's your own risk. Don't mortgage the house. Don't piss off the wife, because I ain't got to pay you back. All right, so let's move on to the next game. Is who we got next? We got the Tennessee Titans. That's going to be Sunday, I believe. Oops. Uh-oh. I kind of messed up my games. All right, here we go. 1:00 game, Tennessee Titans and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars 6-3. They got the commanding lead so far in the AFC South, but Houston is coming. And we'll get to that in a bit. The Tennessee Titans 3-6. They're in last place. The Titans are 7-point underdogs in this game. Now, if you've been following us, you know the rules that I have about division games with spreads that are larger than 6, larger than a touchdown. I don't really like them. Right? I think a couple times I might have went against my word and it ended up backfiring, but typically I don't like large spreads. And to me, anything more than a touchdown is a large spread, especially in a division game. That's how I view it. Titans are 7-point underdogs, but they do have to go out to Jacksonville. I like Jacksonville. I really do. And Will Levis is going to get the start for the Titans. And I think this game is going to be a little bit closer than people anticipate. I noticed the over-under is 39.5 right now. And division game, I don't like the large spread. I think the Jaguars are going to win, but I don't think they're going to win by 7. So take the Titans and the +7 in this division showdown, in this AFC South showdown. Jaguars are going to win, but they probably won't win by 7. At least I hope not. So that's that. Now let's move on to the LA Chargers and the Green Bay Packers. This is a 3-point spread here. LA Chargers are actually 3-point favorites on the road at Lambeau Field. So Chargers have been disappointing this year. I mean, 4-5, they're third in the AFC West. This is a game that they know they have to go into Lambeau and win. This is a big, big game for the Chargers. They have to win this game. Like Justin Herbert, it's time for you to carry and lift this team to victory to show that you are an elite quarterback in the NFL. Right? We had high hopes for you this year. Now, yeah, he's having a solid year. 17 touchdowns, 5 picks. He's an 89.5 rating, over 2,300 yards in the air. But we need more. Keenan Allen looks pretty good. He's closing in on 1,000 yards on the season. Another 100+ yard game will get him over the top. He has 73 catches on the season at this point. He just reached, I think, 10,000 receiving yards last weekend or something like that. So I think the Chargers are going to win this game. If they go into Lambeau, they're going to get the victory. They understand that this is a game they must win. This is a must-win game for the LA Chargers, in my opinion, and I think they will prevail. So take the Chargers and the -3 as the favorites to go into Lambeau and get the win. Just not a big Packer fan at this point. So let's move on to the next game. We got the Washington Giants. The Washington Commanders and the New York Giants. The New York Giants. All right. Giants are 9.5-point underdog. This is a division game. So 9.5-point underdogs for the New York Giants. Not a big fan of the Giants here. Giants are terrible. They really are. They're a bad team. They are a bad team. And this may be one of the only times where I may consider going against. Actually, I won't, because I don't think the Commanders are that good of a team. So this is a large spread, 9.5-point spread. And the over-under in this game is 37.5. Right? 37.5. in this game. And Tommy DeVito will get his second start for the Giants. What a story that is. Tommy DeVito, right? This guy, right? Guy still lives at home with his mom. I mean, what a story that is for the NFL. But I will say this. I think this game is going to be a lot closer. I'm going to give me the New York Giants in the +9.5. They probably won't win this game, but the +9.5 is too big to bite. Too big of an apple. So if you're a betting man, go with the +9.5 in that game. And I wouldn't be shocked if something weird happens in that game because you never know, right? With these games, you just don't. So take that one and be happy with it. All right, next up we got the Las Vegas Raiders, the new look Raiders taking on the Miami Dolphins. Raiders are 5-5. They're second place in the AFC West. They are, after firing Josh McDaniels and give it a new look. They're making a big emphasis on this race thing, right? I've noticed the media is playing up this black president, black coach, and all this other stuff. They're playing the race card, trying to hype up their team. I don't know why they're going that route, but that's what they're doing. And the media is playing into it, the sports media to a degree, but they're a 13.5-point underdog to the Miami Dolphins. And they got to go out to Miami and this is a 46.5 over under in this game. And this is a big one. I don't know if the Dolphins can cover that. They are tough to beat at home. I will say that. And let's see if we got any notes on this game. The matchup here is going to be Nate Hobbs versus Tyreek Hill. Nate Hobbs, the cornerback for the Las Vegas Raiders. He's going to have his hands full trying to cover Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. And we'll see. He doesn't have a chance. I mean, he has no shot. Raheem Mostert he leads the NFL with 11 rushing touchdowns, and he has 13 total TDs on the season, which ties Christian McCaffrey for the most in NFL. Mostert is averaging about 4.5 yards per carry. That's the best in the Super Bowl era amongst running backs with at least 500 attempts. So this guy is a monster. Now, a bunch of those numbers came against the Denver Donkeys when they put up 70 billion yards against them way back a few weeks back. But can the Raiders defense contain Tyreek Hill? That's going to be the question. Now, Tyreek Hill has yet to have a consecutive sub 100-yard receiving game this year. So this guy he's coming off a 62-yard outing against his former team. So he doesn't go back to back without reaching 100 yards. So it's safe to say that Tyreek Hill will have over 100 yards this week. Okay, he leads the NFL in yards, receiving touchdowns. He plays at least 40 yards. He also has the most touchdowns and plays of at least 40 plus yards. He has 7 of those. So the defense needs to be aware that Tyreek Hill will burn you for the touchdowns if you are not careful. But look, the notes is all good and everything, but this is a 13.5-point spread, people. I'll tell you this. You know what? I don't like the Dolphins. I hate the Dolphins. I think they're overrated slightly. I'm going to ride the Las Vegas Raiders wave here. I'm going to say that this game is going to be a lot closer than people expect. So I'm taking the Raiders and the +13. Let's go out. We're going to roll the dice here. Las Vegas +13.5. They might lose the game, but they're going to be in it. I think they're going to ride that wave. Antonio Pierce has those guys playing hard and tough, and I think they're going to they're going to survive, at least for the most part, until they lose at the end. They'll probably lose by 6, 7, 8 points, maybe even 10. But I don't think they're going to lose by 2 touchdowns because that's what would need to happen for that to happen. I think the Raiders are riding high, and they're going to be tough. And plus, they understand they're second in the division. They got an opportunity here to try to, compete for a playoff spot. So this is going to be a big game for the Raiders. Now, let's move on to the Houston Texans hosting the Arizona Cardinals. How about the surprise of the year, Houston Texans, over 500 through 11 weeks? Who would have thought? If we would have said at the beginning of the season, by week 11, the Houston Texans will be over 500. Now, I know the AFC South is a bad division. It's not a good division, so it may not be that much of a surprise, but rookie quarterback, CJ Stroud, some people are talking MVP for the guy. As a rookie, he's already probably going to be offensive player of the year, offensive rookie of the year. 15 touchdowns, 2 picks. The guy's been great all year for the most part. He looks pretty good. I mean, he's not turning the ball over, which is always a key in the NFL. If you're a quarterback and you don't turn the ball over, you don't throw picks, you're going to be in a lot of games, right? That's the formula for success in the NFL. Some quarterbacks don't understand that, Mac Jones. But anyway, so the Houston Texans, they're 4.5-point favorites at home against the Arizona Cardinals, who are 2-8, a terrible team. This team is dreadful. But Kyler Murray is back. He hasn't really played much at all this year. He played last week. So can the Cardinals steal one in Houston? I don't know. I mean, I'm not really on the Texans train yet, but that spread is reasonable. I would say the Houston Texans can manage that. Take the Houston and the 4.5. I think they can manage that. If that thing was even higher than 4.5, I would have been like, I don't know. But I think Texas can handle that. They can handle that, right? They can handle that. At least they better. So let's move on to the division game. Bears and Lions. This game is going to be on Fox. You know how it goes. The NFC North showdown between the two division rivals. Now, the Detroit Lions are 7-2. They're riding high. They're a 7.5-point favorites. You know my rule about division games and large point spreads. The Bears are in a pretty good spot here, even though they're 3-7. And the reason why I say that is because they're in a position where they might end up having 2 top 5 picks in this coming draft. Right? Now, I don't know what's going to happen here. But I do think that the Lions, this is a division game. I think this game is going to be close. I'm going with the Bears here. I'm taking Chicago and the plus 7.5. That's like a 3-score. That's a 2-score game. A 1-score game. That's a little bit too big for me. Because if you got the spread at 47.5, you got to think that both teams could probably put up about 20 each, right? Maybe not, but we'll see. Let's go to the next one. We got another division game. A lot of division games this week. Steelers, Browns. Steelers 6-3, Browns 6-3. This is a showdown that can put the team that wins this game could be in second place. Now the Browns are probably the most overrated 6-3 team of all time. I mean, this team is not 6-3 worthy. I mean, come on. But the Browns is another division rival game, a renewed heated rivalry that kicked off a division race that are trailing. They're right on the heels of Baltimore. So the funny thing is, if Baltimore loses their game, one of these teams could end up in first place, possibly by next week. Could you imagine the Cleveland Browns or the Pittsburgh Steelers in first place after week 12? Now, the Steelers, I would have believed probably a few weeks ago. But beginning of the year, you would not have believed that because you would have said, whoa, Cincinnati is the best team here. Hello. Now, we did show some love to Pittsburgh. We thought Pittsburgh would be right there as a number 2 team. I wasn't sold on Baltimore. Baltimore has exceeded my expectations. But the Browns are exceeding everybody's expectation, right? So could you imagine one of these teams, if Baltimore loses, right, which is possible, they could lose. They play in the Bengals. They could definitely lose that game. If Baltimore loses that game and one of these teams, Cleveland or Pittsburgh, wins, they're going to be in first place going into week 12. We could be talking about potentially Cleveland Browns without Deshaun Watson in first place. First fucking place. Are you kidding me right now? Like that could be a possibility. The whole NFL is going to go on fire if the Browns end up in first place by week 12. But so we'll see if that happens. I think Pittsburgh got this game, though, to be honest. Pittsburgh should win this game. I like Pittsburgh here. I mean, Browns are starting Dorian Thomas-Robinson. This guy sucks, okay? This guy is absolutely garbage. Now, okay, this guy sucks. He threw 3 interceptions way back in the 28-3 loss to Baltimore. This guy's trash. I think Pittsburgh's going to be all over his ass like white on rice. TJ Watt is probably going to sack this guy 50 million times. Get the Steelers. You take the Steelers in a +1 and you're safe. This is probably the safest pick you can make this week. And they're trying to bait you in Vegas with this 1-point spread, thinking that this is an even game. It's really not. It's really not. Dorian Smith is Dorian Robinson, Thomas Robinson he's garbage. He's garbage. Okay. This is not going to be a close game. The Steelers may blow them out. Okay. They may blow them out. That's all I'm going to say there. As long as Kenny Pickett doesn't turn the ball over, I got to make that disclaimer because, Kenny Pickett, 6 touchdowns, 4 picks on the year. So he hasn't been great either. But he's better than Dorian Thomas-Robinson for sure. I can guarantee you that. So take the Steelers in a +1. Let's go on to what we got here next. We got the Dallas Cowgirls heading down to Charlotte, or heading across or up, whatever the geographic map shows, heading to Charlotte to take on those Carolina Panthers, who are some reason, I don't know, they're just a bad team. I don't think they're tanking because they don't get their pick. Their pick goes to the Bears. So they're basically losing games, and that's good for Chicago, right? So the Cowgirls are 10.5-point favorites on the road, I might add. Dallas Cowgirls, the over-under in this game is 42.5. Panthers are 1-8. Cowgirls are 6-3. So you got Dak Prescott versus Bryce Young. Oh, shit. Sorry. Dak Prescott versus Bryce Young in this matchup. Bryce Young, rookie, struggling for the most part. I mean, he's not on a good team so that's what happens. Now, the Cowgirls, they have a top 5 offense in football, second in points, third in third downs, 6th in pass, and third in total yards. The Carolina Panthers, though, their offense is at the bottom of the NFL for the most part, the bottom half, but their defense, at least when it comes to yards, they're 6th in yards allowed, passing yards allowed, 6th in total yards allowed, and 9th in third down defense. So their defense is kind of, now maybe those numbers are skewed because they play in a shitty division. So it's whatever. But the Cowgirls are 2-3 on the road this year, so they are not a good road team. They're not a great road team at all. And the Panthers, on the other hand, they're a bad team. So the question is, can the Cowboys go into Carolina and beat these guys by 2 scores? Yes, they can do that, but will they do it? The way they play on the road, I'm torn between the two. Plus, the over under in this game is 42.5. So they thinking that both defenses are going to probably be playing well here. You know what? Screw it. Take the Panthers and the plus 10.5. Carolina, they're going to lose the game outright, of course. But I think the Cowgirls will probably only win by maybe 10 games. They might win by 10 points or 9 or 8. So that's what we're going to do there for the Dallas Cowgirls, who are looking to stay on par with the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC East. Now, let's move on to what we got here. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the San Francisco 49ers. Now, the 49ers are 11.5-point favorites in this game. 11.5. This is a big spread. NFC West versus NFC South. Are the 49ers back to being that dominant team that everyone thought they were going to be at the beginning of the season when they started winning a lot of games early on? Now, the over-under is only 41.5, so they're not looking at can Tampa survive this game? Baker Mayfield has not been bad, though. 14 touchdowns, 5 picks on the season. He's not been bad. He's been competitive. If you look at his numbers with Brock Purdy, they're right on par. I mean, they're pretty even. These two guys' numbers, at least from touchdowns, interceptions, and yards, they're right there. They're like, Baker's had more attempts, yards, completions, and more throws, and more completions and more attempts. But Prudy's got more yards. Prudy's got one more touchdown, and he has a better QB rating. But this game is, at least from the quarterback side, it looks pretty even right there. Now, obviously, Christian McCaffrey's on another level when it comes to the 49ers running back versus the Tampa Bay's running back. McCaffrey's nearly at 5 yards a carry. He's at 4.88. He has 9 touchdowns, only 2 fumbles on the year on 153 carries. So, and then you got Mike Evans, of course, for Tampa Bay, who's the best receiver on the field. He will be the best receiver on the field in this game, at least on Sunday. Now, my Mike Evans is questionable, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Now, let me see something here. You know what? I think I'm going to go with San Francisco. No. You know what? I'm trying to think. Should I take San Francisco or should I take the 49ers? 11.5. It's in San Fran, too, so you know what? Screw it. Give me Tampa. I'm taking Tampa and the plus 11.5. That's that. Now, you don't got to do that. You could do whatever you want, but my money's going to go with the Tampa Bay on that one. Next, we got the Seattle Sea Chickens and the LA Rams. The Sea Chickens heading out to LA, heading down to LA. And this is a 1-point game. This is a 1-point spread. Despite the fact that the Sea Chickens are 6-3 and the Rams are 3-6. Geno Smith. You know what's so funny here? I like the Rams for some reason. I think the Rams and the over under is 46.5, one of the bigger over unders this week. I'm not sold on the Sea Chickens. I'm really not. I know they're 6-3. I'm just not sold. Take the Rams +1 in this game. I'm taking the Rams. Give me the Rams +1. That's what I like. Next, we got the New York Jets and the Buffalo Bills. Jets and Bills. A touchdown challenge Jets team traveled to face the Bills in a AFC East showdown. Now, so the Jets are heading up to Orchard Park. The Buffalo is the only real New York team in the NFL, despite the fact that there are three teams that are New York teams. Jets and Giants play in New Jersey in the Swamp, but Buffalo is the only team that actually plays home games in New York. Of course, everyone knew that. But Jets 4-5, surprising. They're not. I mean, think about this for a second. This is a game that this is an opportunity for the Jets, right? Now we hear rumblings that Aaron Rodgers could be returning soon, right? Like, and there's some conspiracy going on out there. I don't think Aaron Rodgers was really as hurt as people claimed he was. I think they were kind of resting him a bit, and he probably could have came back already, but they were like, let's just wait it out, see what could happen. And now I'm just speculating. I don't know, but if the Jets can hold on here and because look, they see the division, they know the division sucks, right? The AFC East is terrible, like top to bottom. Like the Dolphins right now are probably the best team in the division so far, but the Patriots suck, right? They're not having a good year. Now, this wasn't my thoughts early on. I thought the Pats was going to be good, but right now we're 11 weeks in, 10 weeks in with 11 weeks, week 11 starting. And right now, the division is not that great. Defensively, the division is pretty solid. But overall, I think when you got the Jets at 4-5 in third place and the Bills at 5-5, and the Jets can take they can take over second place with a win against the Bills, that is crazy with no Aaron Rodgers. So I wouldn't discount the Jets in this game. If I'm Buffalo, I would be very careful here. I think this is a must-win game for Buffalo. This is a must-win game. Buffalo, if they are serious about being Super Bowl contenders, which I don't believe they are, but if they're serious about it, they got to beat the Jets in Buffalo this week. They got to, not only do they got to beat the Jets, they need to blow the doors off the Jets. If you want to convince me that you're serious about being a Super Bowl contender. I never thought Bills were Super Bowl contenders. I thought their window was closing and it's just about closed. But they got to prove us wrong here. So I think this is a must win for the Bills. Must win. They got to win this game. So we'll see. Now, Josh Allen leads the NFL in interceptions with 11. This guy's been picked off at least once in 6 consecutive games. So we'll see what the Jets do with that. They're going to be hawking Josh Allen. And now the Jets, Garrett Wilson, wide receiver, he was limited early in the week while dealing with an elbow injury that knocked him out of the game last week against the Vegas Raiders. So we don't know if he will play or not. We'll have to find out. If he's not playing, that could be obviously beneficial to the Bills. Now the Jets, the funny thing about the Jets, despite them they're right on the Bills' ass for second place in the division. They have lost 2 in a row. Right? It's not like they're out there winning games and they're so this is what I'm saying. The division sucks. The division sucks. The Jets on a 2-game losing streak and they're still somehow right there. If they can win the game, they go to 500 and they can take second place in the division. That's how bad the division is. And now, mind you, the Jets rank last in the NFL third down conversion. And red zone conversion. So this team not only cannot get touchdowns, they can't convert on third down, but somehow they are right there for second place in the AFC East. That's just how bad the division is. The Jets are doing everything in their power to be a terrible team, and somehow they still are right there with the Bills, who's supposed to be Super Bowl contenders. Super Bowl contenders. Oh man. Okay. Anyway, so Bills and Buffalo. I'm taking. Give me the Jets. This is going to be a division, defensive type game. The Bills will win, but the New York Jets will hold them to. They'll only lose by like 6 or 3 or something like that. It'll be a close game. So take the Jets in the +7, and that's that. All right. So let's move on. Minnesota Vikings and the Denver Donkeys. This is going to be a Monday night game. Prime time. Right? Prime time. Vikings, Donkeys. And let's see, any notes here? Cortland Sutton has become Russell Wilson's go-to guy in the red zone. So that's a good for the Broncos. Key matchup, Josh Dobbs versus the Broncos defense that has forced 9 turnovers in the past 2 games. 5 against Patrick Mahomes and 4, I believe, against Josh Allen's Bills. So this Denver team is looking a lot different than they did back when they got stomped by the Miami Dolphins. Right? Remember the Dolphins put 70 on these guys. But over the last few weeks, they've been turning things around. So, and they went up against, they've been giving hell to Patrick Mahomes, who's the best quarterback in the conference and maybe all of football, and Josh Allen, who's supposed to be elite, right? So these are like 2 of the, Josh Allen in many conversations to some people, not me, will have Josh Allen as a top 5 QB. I don't, but most of the experts out there do. So defense has been giving these 2 quarterbacks hell. So safe to say that they're going up against Josh Dobbs. This should be an easy task for the Denver Donkeys to do, right? They should be able to handle Josh Dobbs and the Vikings. We'll see if they can do that. Now, the Donkeys are 2.5-point favorites at home. It's a Sunday night football. I'm taking the Donkeys in this game. So you take the Donkeys and the -2.5, and that should be that. Now let's move on. We got final game, the game of the week. This might be the game of the week, guys. This is the game of the week, actually, if we're being honest. The game of the week, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. The Eagles are underdogs, 2.5-point underdogs. Now, the story in this game is going to be about Taylor Swift showing up with the in Kansas City and all this other stuff, and Philly fans want her to wear Eagles shirt. I don't care about the whole Taylor Swift thing. I think it's stupid, but that's going to be the main story because Travis Kelce's mom, obviously, she's probably going to be rooting for her son and her 2 sons who both play on Philly. One plays for the Eagles, so the Kelce Swift dynamic in the booth, which I don't give 2 shits about. But they're going to be talking about that. ESPN, Disney, ABC, they're going to run a while with that, all the commercials with Taylor Swift and Mr. Pfizer. But let's get to the game. Kansas City's 2.5-point favorites at home. This is considered a close game. Over under is 45.5. Eagles 8-1. Chiefs 7-2. And this is a tough game to pick here because I want to go with the Chiefs because it's obviously they're at home. The quarterback plays is dead even between Hurts and Mahomes so far statistically. I mean, the numbers are pretty right there on par. The Eagles' rushing attack has been good. They've had some pretty good rushing game. A.J. Brown's been on fire. He has over 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns, 67 catches. Trying to see if there's any notes. There's no notes here. So the Chiefs, you know what? We're gonna take the Chiefs. Chiefs at home, take Kansas City. Monday night game. We'll take the Chiefs. Now, Jalen Hurts is questionable with a knee injury, but there's no way he sits out this game. I mean, this is a primetime big game. So if he does have a knee problem, though, that could still work well for the Chiefs. So take the Chiefs in a 2.5. This is basically a pick 'em. And that's that. So let's recap real quick before we get up out of here. NFL Week 11 against the spread. We got the Chiefs, Donkeys, the New York Jets +7, the Rams +1, Tampa Bay +11.5, Carolina +10.5, Pittsburgh +1, Bears +7.5, Houston, Vegas +13.5, Giants +9.5, Chargers, Titans +7.5, Bengals +3.5. So those are the picks. Gridiron Steady against the spread. You can follow us on Twitter at Gridiron Steady, also on YouTube at Gridiron Steady as well. And you take the picks, you do what you want with them. But I am not responsible if you lose all your money. I am not responsible. But I will remind you once again that we are 8-2 on Thursday Night Football this year. So, but anyway, I'm not responsible if you lose your money. So you better have a good divorce attorney if you lose your money and your wife wants to divorce you. Do not call me. I will not help you. I can't help you. So that's that. Yeah. So send us an email, sportstoday@protonmail.com. And look, week 11 is going to be a good week. We got some good ones, right? Chiefs, 49ers. Chiefs, Eagles, probably the game of the week. But I think, honestly, there's a couple interesting games that could really put some, like Baltimore and Cincinnati. That's a key game. Pittsburgh, Cleveland, a key game, because if one team wins, another team loses, it could really change the dynamic of the divisions and what we see moving forward. And even Jets and Bills is a key game. Because the Bills, right? People think the Bills are going to be the Super Bowl contending team. A lot of people had the Bills as Super Bowl contending team. They did. I didn't, but people did. So the Bills lose, that's going to be disappointing. Anyway, that's it for NFL Week 11 against the spread. Send us an email, sportsteady@protonmail.com. Also, Twitter, Gridiron Steady. Send them a tweet. Tell them I sent you, or don't. Sports page run by sports fans. Peace.